A very good morning to you. How are you doing this Monday morning? Karibu sana to your world. My name is Mwikali Mary, and you know, every single Monday on Your World, we do things mindful. Those are the conversations that we have every single Monday morning. Mindful Monday it is. And today, we dive into a conversation that is very, very important, very personal, but most of the times not spoken. Sometimes not even understood. Sometimes we live all our lives without understanding what happened. Why am I like this? We probably don't even get around to asking ourselves that question. But when we do, then we find so many other things that are underlying. And one of those things is the conversation that we are having today. And the question is how my mother's behavior affects my relationships today. We are talking about the mother's wounds. What is it? Where does it come from? Do we recognize it? Do we see it? Does it really exist? What exactly is going on? And this is not an easy conversation to have. So we are asking you today to just be open to it. And we are also asking you to be very vulnerable with us. We have our lines open, our WhatsApp line as well, our social media platforms. And we are asking you a question today. And the question that we're asking you is, if you could say one healing thing to your younger self about your relationship with your mother, what would it be? If you could say one healing thing to your younger self about your relationship with your mother, what would it be? And we have that question on your screen. If I was going a bit too fast for you, if you could say one healing thing to your younger self about your relationship with your mother, what would it be? And that will definitely be, we'll be checking that on our social media platforms, NTV Kenya, and our WhatsApp number as well, and see what it is that you are saying about that. What would you say? And of course, we'll also be answering all the questions that you have, because we have an amazing panel. And I know we threw them under the bus kidogo last week during the show, and we're just like, yes, 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 Munarudi next week. And of course, not just them, we have an additional expert on this conversation. So just to introduce them, starting on my immediate left, we're going to start with a lady who was seated right here last week. Mmejipanga tu kama last week. It's something the brain does, right? Nilikuwa tu nimekaa tu hapo, then I'm comfortable there. An elevation coach, families, post-trauma experiences. Mariah Mwangi, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Lovely to have you. And right next to Mariah, we have Cleo Panjiro, who's a counseling psychologist. Uliturudisha miaka ya before. And I had a question for you then. If you were dealing with people who were, you know, women who were trying to get children and having that conversation and all of that, how difficult or easy was it back then? Because it's still a conversation. Ikona ka stigma fulani saizi. I'm imagining what it looked like in 1988, well, you know. And right next to Cleopa, we have Wakonyo Geshohe Igeria, life coach. Karibu sana. Good to have you on the show. Ukona deni ya last week. Unalipa leo?
Leo.
The tea.
Thank you.
It's good to be back. And right next to Wakonyo, we have Agiso Oduno. I hope I'm saying that right. Transformational life coach, mentor, and author. And she's authored a book called Wounded: Identifying the Mother Wound and Finding Healing. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I think you're an amazing additional person to this conversation and this panel from what we started last week. Tuko salama? Yes, yes. Are we ready for today's conversation?
Yes.
By the time we were done with 30 minutes last week, I was already looking like I want to cry. So I don't know if this question of if we are okay is if it's directed to you guys or I'm saying it to myself. It's relative, right? But yeah, I think we're going to start with like the basic of like the basics. Somebody who's probably never heard of this terminology before. What does it mean? Is it a real thing? Does it exist? And it's a free takers. We could start with student number one, or we could start right there. I think we start with you because, and please show us the book as well as you start the conversation.
So this is the book that started it all, and it's titled Wounded: Identifying the Mother Wound and Finding Healing. And it has on it a picture of a lady carrying another wounded lady.
Yes.
And a
just
mother,
hold it like this so we can get a
mother.
Proper,
sorry.
Yes, there you go.
A mother carrying a child on their back, all to depict that you can be wounded by your mother. And to answer your question, a mother wound is when a mother is she may be present, but she's not emotionally there for you. She may be physically present, but she's emotionally distant. She's not attuned to you emotionally, and that can make up a wound to you as a child, as you're growing up, or later on in life.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when we talk about wound, it feels very...
nebulous.
I'm not. Yeah, like it could mean many things. So what exactly does it look like in layman's terms?
Okay, in layman's term, is when a mother gives birth to a child.
Yes.
The mother's role is to nurture the child, take the child through several steps of life, and bring up the child, but also emotionally input into that child, so that the child has a secure attachment, so that the child grows up, and the steps that the child has, they go on as would be if the mother had completely given herself up to her in terms of emotional input and nurturing. Now, when there's a gap in that area, then the child suffers from deficiencies. Just like if the child was not given food, nutrients at the right time, they could have kwashiorkor, they could have
marasmus.
Marasmus or other things.
Yes.
So also when a child has an emotional deficiency, then it can constitute a wound. And a wound could be neglect. If the mother is there physically but unable to connect with the child, there's a wound. If the mother abandons the child, or if the mother is not able, like we said, to input into the emotional being of that child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can all probably just add on to that, but it just feels like when we're having this conversation, and probably I'm looking at it because I am, quote, at the age of you can be a mother now.
Right.
And as you're healing yourself and becoming a mother, it's also helping you probably become a better one, or be able to see the signs of what it is that happened to you that you're trying to heal and what you're passing on, which I think it's very, very important. But if you have any other additions to what the mother wound is, or how we understand it for different perspectives, you could just jump in, Cleopa?
Yeah, maybe I could start by saying there is a lot of literature in this.
Yes.
And among the first founders of psychology, there's one who talked about archetype. Archetype is an image you have.
Yes.
So when we are talking about mother's wound, it's somehow like a shadow, the way you look at yourself in a shadow. So then again, allowing yourself to acknowledge this is my mother, but there is the shadow of my mother. The things that a mother can do without knowing that can hurt, that can injure. Okay. That's why we are talking about the wound. And some of these things could come from generational. Okay. That is, what was done to me, I do it to my own child. And so you pass it from one generation to another. It can also come to the traumas that people go through. Like now we can ask ourselves, who are we talking about? Yeah. We may be talking about a mother who is an adolescent, who has now become a mother and she is still a child.
Yes.
We're also talking about a mother who is also going through trauma because of the relationship, problems in the marriage.
Yeah.
And now she is expecting a child, and then she gives birth. The way this mother will treat this child because of whatever is happening to her or whatever has been passed to her can injure this person. Okay. And that's why she's talking about insecure attachment. There's a lot of theories about attachment. Attachment is the bond you get with your mother.
Yes.
So if it is anxiety, if the one she's using, the way she's treating you, she's causing anxiety like she can go anytime.
Yes.
And that now becomes a wound. So when you grow up, you will be relating with the people with that anxiety. Abandonment. A guy meets a lady, and he still feels this lady is going to go the next day.
Yeah.
So he becomes anxious, and he treats this girl with anxiety because he learned it. It's something that was implanted in him when he was growing up, when he was being breastfed. So those are the things that we need to help people to say, yes, I'm not blaming my mother.
Okay.
I'm not saying my mother is a bad person.
Okay.
But I'm only saying because of certain behaviors,
Yes.
because of what she did or she did not do,
Yeah.
like giving me love, telling me, I love you, baby.
Yeah.
I love you, and breastfeeding me while she is smiling.
Yeah.
But because of the difficulty she's going through, she does do that. So it's acknowledging I could be who I am today.
Yeah.
I could be doing the things I'm doing today
Yeah.
because of what? The shadow now, the archetype. And now when we are talking about mothers, it's not only the biological mother.
Okay.
Mother is a caregiver.
Yes.
Immediately a child is born, there are other caregivers who come, a grandmother, an auntie. So whatever they do, they are doing it on behalf of their mother.
Yeah.
And they are the caregiver. So whatever they do is also a ood. So when we are looking at it, we look at it generally, not just a mother, but the people who are representing the mother. And then the mother becomes a caregiver.
Yeah.
So she is your biological mother, yes?
Yes.
But she is a caregiver. So you are not blaming her, but you are only getting aware of. She said something, she did not do something, and that's why I am the person I am today. And so that is what we take people through other techniques to be able now to go back to your childhood and acknowledge this. Like now, if you were born and your mother went back to school, like now we have so many mothers who are giving birth, and then they go to school.
Yes.
They will come after 3 months.
Yes.
So this child is already having that gap of, I've been breastfeeding,
Yes.
and this mother has already gone.
And it's not intentional. The girl needs to go back to school, but then as a child, that is what I'm receiving.
Yes, yes,
Oh, wow.
yes. So that is now going back into even asking, how was it like? Was my mother having problems? Was I born during the post-erection violence?
Yeah.
Because you can imagine a child who was born during the post-erection violence.
Yeah.
How was the mother? And after that, if the mother moved from where they were to another place, how did that affect the child who was born that time?
Yeah.
Or during a time where there were crises, famine and all that.
Yeah.
So that's what we are talking about. It's a sensitive thing to talk about your mother.
Very.
In a way of my mother wounded me,
Yes.
or ijan me,
Yeah.
alinipatia vidoda,
Yeah.
vya roho,
Yeah.
emotions.
It
Na
already
hizo
feels,
vidoda.
it already feels wrong. It feels how dare I? How
Talk
dare
about
I?
my mother.
How do I think it? Yeah, it's taboo.
Yeah.
And you know what I love that Cleopa has said is that a mother wound is not necessarily inflicted by a bad person.
That's the thing.
And I really want us to have that foundation so that anyone listening understands. Because you see, a lot of people listening will see themselves in this conversation and say, this is what I've done to my children. It's a wrap. It's the end. People need to, for me, it's 2 levels. It came down to you generationally. This is the way you are raised and you are taught how to raise a child. You didn't know better. And then culture said you raise a child a certain way. So you did the best you could with what you had available and you gave it your best. But then in that best, there was still, like she said, gaps.
Yes.
And I think from the very beginning, we need to have that statement. Mother wounds are not necessarily inflicted by bad people. They did the best they could. But now we have the conversation. Now we have the tools to understand that this is what had happened. Can we go back and then focus on healing? Not on badness, on healing.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of grace that needs to be extended. Even, and I love that we've put the foundation right there instead of going mother wound, it's all negative. It's probably, they didn't know better. I mean, if they had you at what, 16, 15, what did they know really? What did they know? But in the same way, it's not all negative. We can also get love from them. It's not necessarily one directional. As we're talking, I'm picking out how we are relating mother wounds to the girl. The girl. She. Where's the boy? Where's the man? You know, like I have a brother. Do they have mother wounds, and my mother wounds are just for the girl? Yeah. So is it wrong? I don't know.
They do. Men have mother wounds.
Yes.
I did another show somewhere, and there was a young man who came up to our surprise, and he spoke about his mother wounds. And the thing is, people don't identify them as mother wounds because, like we said, it's a taboo topic.
Yes.
How can my mother wounded me? You're telling me that my mother wounded me?
Can't think it.
No, because you cannot. We've been brought up to think the institution of motherhood is sacred.
Yeah.
In Africa, we don't badmouth your mother. Unavumilia. You know, you don't talk about whatever it was she did to you. But people are also in denial. People have not, first of all, in denial, like Owakonyo is saying, but they're in denial or they're not aware that they have mother wounds. I had a wonderful mother. She was really sweet, and even I dedicated the book to her. But there's some things she said and did to me that changed my personality.
Yes.
And it was not intentional. And now that I've written the book, I can understand why my personality is the way it is, where my low self-esteem came from, where things like that happened, because of just one or two phrases she said to me when I was growing up. So she wasn't a bad mother, she was wonderful, but inadvertently. And I think people need to be aware, as Cleopa is saying, that they are wounded, that there is a wound that can occur. And then identify what it is, whether it was something she said, whether it was a neglect, whether they were abandoned, or whether it was a behavior she had. And then from then on, go to the root, and then, as Owakonyo is saying, begin the healing journey.
But then we need to go on a quick break, but when we come back, I don't know why you're so quiet over here, but when we come back, I'd like to find out, how do we identify? So I'm grown, there's certain ways I behave. I don't understand why I behave this way. Just understanding what are some of the telltale signs that I'm actually probably suffering from a mother wound. When we come back from the break, and we're going to start with you, Moraya. Great. So we're going to take a quick break, but the question we're asking you today is, if you could say one healing thing to your younger self about your relationship with your mother, what would it be? If you could say one healing thing to your younger self about your relationship with your mother, what would it be? NTV Kenya on all of our social media platforms, our WhatsApp line iko hapo, tutasikia kutoka kwako hivi punde, and our lines are also open. We've got experts in the building. They'll definitely answer all the questions that you have. Right now though, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Your World Monday edition. It's Mindful Monday, and today we're talking about mother wounds, how the relationship that you have with your mother has probably affected the way you relate with people today. And it's those relationships that quietly shape how we connect, how we love, how we trust, how we put up our boundaries or not. So it's all of that put together. And the question that we are asking you today is, if you could say one healing thing to your younger self about your relationship with your mother, what would it be? If you could say one healing thing to your younger self about your relationship with your mother, what will it be? NTV Kenya on all of our social media platforms. We'll be looking at your feedback. But just before the break, we had a question about how do you know? How do you pick? How do you tell? I'm not just like this. There's something else that caused me to be like this. What do you look out for? And we also had another conversation just during the break where, why this girl? Why is the relationship between mother and daughter, and especially the firstborn girl, what is happening there? But just before we get to that question, Moraya, the telltale sign, what do we look out for?
I'd like to first comment, I guess, on that book, because my whole inclination of the mother wound was guided by that book. I found it in a very opportune time in my life, and so what that would look like is you have behavioral deficiencies that she has highlighted very clearly there. And a deficiency is that you're present but something is lacking. You grew up but something is lacking. You are loved but an aspect of love is missing. You are fed but then some emotional nutrition was deprived, some psychological nutrition, so that you're not a holistic, authentic individual. So when you look at it that way, then you understand why you want to give up all your opportunities, or most of them, to buy back love. I realize now in my own journey, when I did that, I fell back in a way I've never gone back to succeed. For example, because of feeling that need, remember I have that mother wound of rejection at birth, innocently by my parents, because they preferred a boy. They were really hoping to get a boy, and I came along. So without knowing what that had done to the little me, I grew up my whole life wondering, what is wrong with me? Am I inadequate? Am I not likable? Am I not enough? All right, so what I did most of my young adulthood was try to buy back the love. You need this done, I'll do it. So guess what I did in my third day of campus? I sacrificed. I didn't graduate because of that. I thought this is the time to show them I love them.
How?
And I quit campus to go and work for my parents. And what did that look like? I never made it back. Because shortly after that, life happened. I've never gone back. All right?
Yeah.
So you can imagine, I'm now working on myself. Because even as I share on my TikTok, because I've covered that book, I give I've covered that book.
She knows it better than I do.
Yes.
Oh, yeah?
She's telling me that. I know what's on page 81, 31. I saw this because like, go to 31. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And what that would look like for somebody is always feeling the need to present yourself so that you're chosen. And then when you're not chosen, you're left wondering because you just look like, you know how it's a bed of roses and then someone just picks the one next to you. Always prefers the other one. All right? So that's what it looks like for me. Those deficiencies leave you wanting to buy back love, wanting a debt that you feel you're owed to be paid by someone who might not even be aware that they owe you anything. Because my parents didn't know, and I don't blame them. They're amazing. They've loved me in so many other ways, you know? Yes, so I always say, it's a journey, but those deficiencies are the first indications. The lacks that you have, the constant, you know, we were talking about the loops last time, those negative loops, those things that you just feel like you keep falling, and you can't get up. That's where I was before I healed. I began that journey of healing.
All right. Cleopa, do you have something to add on to that?
Yeah, I think what she's saying is quite light, and what you had asked, how we go back into the wounds is what you present. Like if you come for therapy, you go for coaching, you have a difficult relationship. You are not relating to people. Every now and then you start a relationship, 2 months gone. You are not well in work. You're moving from one job to another. And we want to find out why this. And that's why we can now go to your childhood. And the signs will be, how are you relating with the world? Because you see, truth be told, okay, we can look at it in about 3 generations. Some 30, 40 years ago, most mothers were staying with their children breastfeeding for even 2 years. So most people related with their mothers. Their fathers were going to look for work. And so it was the mother. Then things have changed. We have mothers now going to work. And then the children are left with a caregiver. And now the things are now going to change again. Because the generation that is coming, all of them will be going to work. Unless those who choose deliberately to stay with their children. But even if you are going to work, in the evening, it's a mother who comes after all day at work, tired, has to breastfeed, and has to talk to this mother. So if there were problems at work, project them now to the child. So what the mother now tells to the child. So when people grow up, they come to us for therapy, then we can pick a pattern. Because it's not about what the mother did, it's about the pattern that you have. And that is the pattern that are tell signs. You are always sabotaging relationships. You don't trust people. Where is this coming from? So it could be coming because you lacked trust. Your mother was never present for you. You got abandonment, insecure attachment. So that is why now you are behaving the way you are behaving at your place of work, in your relationships, because of what could have happened. So bring it up. And that is now we will be dealing with as now the wounds that you have carried from the mother. Now, why the girl child? Because that is the question. Why the girl child?
Why the girl child? Because we've been told that it's not exclusively the girl when we've seen the boys happening. But why is it so common with mother and daughter, especially the first one? And
why the firstborn? Because this girl is the firstborn to be brought up by this mother. And this mother has not brought up any other child. And then this child, this girl, is the one who also become a mother tomorrow. And so she will be passing the same to her child. And she is also passing the same. And then, as men, sometimes, when we get married again, we are expecting a mother in our wives, that woman. So you can see now, the way she handles a man. And the man is also in his mind, he has carried a wood of, I need a mother. And it is this girl now who was wounded by a mother who is supposed to become a mother again. And so they come to us now with relationship problems. Because where are these men? I don't see a man. But how do you see a man when already the way you treat this man is the way as a firstborn you were treated, and you are carrying a wound? And that's why we need to heal now, to allow ourselves to start thinking of how was it from pregnancy all through to 2, 3, 5 years. The things that happens between a girl and a mother. Then comes now the competition between father-daughter. Because sometimes you see daughters are more close to their fathers. And now this mother is seeing, my husband is becoming too close to my daughter. And now energy, not knowing. There's now that fight between the father and the mother and the daughter for the attention and the love of this man. And now this man does not know how to share love. So she does not how to balance. This is my daughter, this is my wife. There is what I need to do to my wife, and there is what I need to do to my daughter. And so it confuses the whole thing, and the fight continues.
It's unspoken, it's unknown, it's just chaotic. Because I'm assuming the mother probably would probably not come and say, you stop loving the daughter.
No, she won't come in. She won't come outrightly and say that. But because she's the one who intangibly runs the show and the home, she creates ways that doesn't happen anymore. That whatever she doesn't want, I've had even this past week engagement with many clients who said, when it wasn't working with my mom, I became very close with my dad. And what did she do then? She came and interfered into that relationship as well. So I can sense my dad is withdrawing from me even emotionally because my mom found out that we had been having just a conversation, which brings, as we were talking, that's what I was telling you, baggages. So what's happening here? The bags of ages are being passed on psychologically, mentally. I'm sure you guys are thinking she's back.
She is back. She's back. She's back.
So when that is happening, then you realize that where is the child in all this? Remember, that's a conversation. Your mom has lived her life. In fact, if you ask her, she gave you the best. But as a child, you're saying, you know, when you come to us now, and we are doing the triad that I was talking about last week, and you're saying, I just feel a pain here. Were you hit? No. Did you fall? No. Can I see the wound? I'm not ready. But can I tell you about it? So that's the journey of elevation for me. Because you go with a private, secret wound, and even you might not be aware of it. And not all wounds are mother wounds. But for the purpose of this conversation, we're addressing the wound, and especially between mother and daughter. I wasn't a firstborn daughter, but I was the second one, and I did not face the rivalry. For me, it was that innocent again experience of I would like to connect with my infant child. How did you feel when she maybe looked at you in despair of I have to do this again, maybe to get a boy? And she did get a boy.
She did.
She did get a boy. So those are some of the things, the baggages, the loops, the things that happen, the quiet sort of manipulations. That's a feedback I got last week. I feel like my mom manipulated our home to suit her needs.
Would that be then the kind of talk that your dad is like this, your dad is like that? Probably you get a lot of work to do so that you don't have free time to converse, lala kabla fike, you know, those kinds of interruptions.
Yes, and just making him unavailable for you and making sure that he doesn't bring you in positive highlight. Because you're not a favorite. So he should never address you positively because you're not a plus sign for her. So because of her own journey, so innocently from, I want us to remember mothers are very, I hope we have all, mothers are very, we are womb men, we complete the journey of that valuable process, and mothers are to be celebrated, no matter how it has turned out for you. I remember a client texted me, oh my goodness, I've just realized my children are so wounded. And I thought, but she's such a good mother. The way I know her, she's such a good mother. So it's not about the mom, it's about you.
You. And I think it's a beautiful thing that you put it that way. But I have a question though. Is it possible to have a loving mother but still have a mother wound?
It is. It is. It is very possible.
Yes.
I told you my mother was a loving mother. She was wonderful. But one of the things I see women doing, like Moriah is saying, if the relationship with her husband is dysfunctional, she will try to get you on her side by bad-mouthing your father, so that you do not have a relationship with your father.
Yes.
So if her relationship is not working, you become her dumping ground. So you will sit there and listen to all the bad things your father has done, everything, you know, terrible. So in that way, a mother is wounding the child because she's making the child carry a burden that is not hers. And the child probably has a wonderful relationship with their father. The father loves her, and she loves the father. But you see, the mother now, as Moriah is saying, uses the opportunity to manipulate the child. And also going back to the firstborn thing, firstborn girl, first of all, you parent the way you were parented. So if she herself, like Cleopa adequately said, the generational wound came down, it reverberates between the generations, then your mother or the mother who was wounded by her own mother doesn't know how to parent any better. So for her daughter, she will be curly, strict with her, say all sorts of things to her. What's wrong with you? How can you go out dressed like that? You look like a slut. Things that were said to her, okay? She's a loving mother. She loves that girl, the firstborn child. And then, especially if the child was born out of wedlock, and then somehow the parents got back together, that child, the mother will project the pain and the agony. If there was a betrayal and baby daddy left the child, the mother with a child as a single mother, that child will be receiving the back end of the wound and the hatred for the father. So the mother will be projecting her own pain. Remember, she was wounded by her mother, now betrayed by the baby daddy. So there's that she's projecting to the firstborn child. There could be the issue of, I expected a boy, and now it's a girl, firstborn child. The issues of sex, the sex of a child. And because of that, she may be loving, but there are silent innuendos. Aki ungekuwa kijana, aki ungeenda kuoleka. You know, again, things like that. So there's silent innuendos that a mother may say.
Even in love.
In love.
She loves you, she's educating you, she's dressing you.
In love, like, these dresses you wear, why don't you look like your sister Betty? You know? And so, what's wrong with you? Why can't you be like your cousin Mary? So immediately, bam, label on you.
Label on you.
There's
Not
something
good enough.
wrong with. Moriah was saying that, and going back again to this conversation, when you know you have a mother wound, when you think about your mother, there's something, there's a grief. There's a grief, there's a sadness, there's a sorrow. She may have been the best person, but in your inner person, in your inner child, the emotion that was stored in your memory, at that time she said that one thing. It could have been just one thing she told you in your life. She loved you, but this one thing she told you harmed you for your life.
Or even an image you have, imprints. I talk about imprints and templates. You're an infant and you're breastfeeding, and she's staring at you blankly. Because she's distracted by her other life issues, and she's like, okay, this baby just needs to finish this, and then, so as a child you feel like, mommy, are we connecting?
Disconnected.
But she's so blank. So imagine that process of, I'm doing this because I have to, or I need to, and because of her own life. You see, she's not thinking. I tell parents, our children come from the future. If you would understand that, you'll be a little bit humbled to say, I have something to learn. You will be humble to say, yes, there is something I could learn from this experience of motherhood.
Well, Konya, you were burning with the...
I really love the way we're going, and the conversation around the mother's thoughts. And then, something just dropped in my spirit, because I remember once, a long time ago, having a conversation. I'd even forgotten the conversation, where a young lady was saying she had her first child when she was 14. I mean, she was a child. And of course, she had the child. The child began to grow, and then she got married and, you know, started her family. And she didn't realize until her second child was almost 14 that she had really wounded that child, because all she would tell the child as the child is growing is, do you know I got pregnant at 14? When you go to school, you make sure boys don't look at you badly. Make sure this doesn't happen. So it's her shame and her fear of what she had done that wounded her child. But you see, she was fiercely loving her child, trying to tell her child, don't go down my road. But it ended up as a wound. So her child grew up thinking, since my mother was like this, and chances are like this. But the way the mother projected her own shame on her child is what wounded the child. That doesn't mean the mother didn't love the child. It was fierce love that went negative. So looking at mother wounds means that we're going to even have to now interrogate the mind of the mother that has wounded the child, so that the child can actually heal.
And she also says in her book, between 31 and 1944, she says about the overprotective mother who is raising a kababa. And what happened, I was shocked that after all this nurturing and giving the boy a seat, no, this is where he sits, and he's 4. And he's a kababa. This is his seat. Don't use that plate. This is his cup. Who is using the cup? Who gave the visitor? She says that boy, when he grows up, he becomes angry at you for not letting him fully evolve. So I was just highlighting what she said. That even after being so overprotective, I talked on TikTok about mothers who are so over Jezebel spirit. She highlights it in that book. And she talks about how your mother...
She has cited the book.
Clearly. She has talked about how your mother is so overprotective and invested in living through you. She'll get you fake documents. She'll go to the she'll go extra. And what happens to you? What happens to you? You feel it's like you're crippled, yet you look whole. So when you stand, when it comes for you to stand and present yourself, you're hollow.
Disempowered.
Disempowered.
I think, yes. I hope you have there's something she has said.
We also need to come back to you.
There's something she has said. Let us not lose it. Because she has said something about mental wellness. And we are here for mental wellness. There's a research that was done in Kenya that for every 4 people who go to our hospitals for outpatient, 1 of them has a mental health condition or issue, which is not detected or even treated. Now we are also talking about mothers who are already mothers and they are the one carrying the burden. As much as us men we claim to be there, I claim, but mothers still hold the bigger share. And now if this mother has got a mental health condition, which is not yet detected or identified, and she is the one we are expecting to take care of this child, what is going to happen? And then in mental wellness, there is also coping with the stress. What kind of stresses are mothers going through? Especially when they have to look for food, they have to take care of the husband, they have to take care of all other things, and they are still expected to breastfeed, to take care of this boy or girl, and especially this girl who is the firstborn, who she is not yet experienced. This is the first person she is bringing up in life. She doesn't have a way of how do I train this girl to become a mother.
The template of that child is definitely affected. Back to template.
we have loads of feedback on WhatsApp and Facebook as well. I'm just going to start with one that I've gotten from Facebook. Candy Galfi says, wow, morning, I'm sipping my tea, my eye and bread. And always, they're all in emojis. Thank you for painting the picture. And always loving the vibe. Monday topic on mother's behavior regarding relationships. And I'm just, when you see marriage, Morife, just run. Meanwhile, staki kuongea mob about hii topic, lakini just like the 2 sides of the coin, moms are and can as well be like moto kama pasi au ama kama Manchester United. What do you mean? Otherwise, sijaolewa, lakini niko na rafiki, and I'm hoping story yetu itaenda poa as we continue to interact. My mom is fully in support of everything that has been going on. We have had a conversation juicy when she visited randomly my place. Akaniambia niwe na subra, nisikimbilie maneno, but awali nilikuwa bad girl. Hadi she was so much annoyed of me being a misbehavior beyond control. The words she used on me, are still fresh in me till date. Lakini tuliongea, tukasameheana, but kwangu, it will never heal. Anyways, I'm Alice from Roiro, watching and always loving your show, Mwikali. Thank you so much. I don't know, maybe we can just have like a minute of just answering this, and maybe we can just answer this after the break. Let me just see what's happening on WhatsApp first, and then we can all note down and have them answered. Good morning. I'm Brian Sibilo. It's Your World show. There's this discussion of how the mother's behavior affects my relationship today, and I can say this. Have you ever asked yourself why men don't have issues with their father-in-laws unlike women with their mother-in-laws? Men tend to make a strong boundary based on mutual respect between them and their father-in-law. Actually, most men secretly meet with their father-in-laws for drinks without involving their wives. They will meet, hang out, play pool, watch football, share ideas, and visit the site where the son-in-law is planning to put up a home for the family. So where does the problem come when it comes to women embracing each other? The main problem is usually conflict of interest. Your mother feels that your wife is exploiting you financially, of which she may be right, or sometimes it's just pure witch hunt. Your wife feels entitled to everything that you and that you are her husband and your mother should keep off. That's where the problem comes in. As a man, use your sense to see if your mother is saving you from financial bankruptcy or she just hates your wife. She might have wanted you to marry from your tribe, but when you went against her wish, and you know women are the only creatures that can have a conversation with their blood vessels, also, you might have married a city raven and the poor mother wants to save her son from the toxic woman. But your mother can't be your wife, and your wife can't replace your mother, and both are important. So ukiangalia vizuri uone hakuna kitu wanaulizana ni upuzi. Draw a line and tell your mother to respect your wife. Again, tell your wife to keep off your mom and never argue with her, even if she is provoked. As for us men, let us keep embracing each other and accord our father-in-laws the respect they deserve and vice versa. I don't know who's going to tackle that when you come back. I love your show, Nimelana. A lot of thanks to your team. Asante sana. Good morning, I'm Agnes. I have a 9-month-old child, and whenever we're in the house and we laugh loudly, she cries a lot. It's as if she is fainting the next minute. We asked a doctor, but said it's normal, but I feel not. Can Mariah help me with that? I'm a first-time mom. Yeah, Mariah, you've gotten that? Yes, okay, great. Hi, Mwikali. I'm a firstborn daughter in a family of 2, and my relationship with my mom has been bittersweet. I love her so much. She's my ride or die, but some things she did in my childhood make me look back and just say, when I'm a mom, I won't do this. Being a firstborn, there's always been a lot of expectations and harsh words, and even beating sometimes, especially from her. And I feel like she's brought me up with the narrative, mother knows best. And I'm not supposed to give my honest opinion because mother knows best. And sometimes I just wish she could have listened to me and not flogged me. Today's conversation is like an awakening to me. I think I have a mother wound. I'm looking at how I relate with people, and I realize a lot of my behavior and trust issues stem from my relationship with my mom. Morning, I really resonate with the topic today. I have personally carried rejection to my 60s. To my 60s. Wow. Wow. I have personally carried rejection to my 60s because it was all round us when growing up. I have therefore rejected all relationships for fear of rejection. I also fear for my kids. I think I have projected the same to them when I see the struggle with love. I even did counseling to see if I can come out, but it hasn't worked. What would you advise me to do? Cleopa, umeshika hiyo? Haya, sawa sawa. I don't think we were ready, were we? We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have those questions answered, and we'll be taking more questions from you. We're talking about the mother wound today, and the question that we are asking you today is very, very simple. We are asking you if you could say one healing thing, if you could say one healing thing to your younger self about your relationship with your mother, what would it be? If you could say one healing thing to your younger self about your relationship with your mother, what would it be? NTV Kenya on all our social media platforms, and our WhatsApp line is still open. Our phone lines are open. We will be receiving your calls and answering all your questions after this break. Welcome back to Monday edition of Your World. And it being a Mindful Monday today, we are talking about the mother wound and navigating those early scars that come in with the maternal dynamics. And the one thing that I'm learning, even as we are 1 hour into the show, is there's a lot of grace. There's a lot of grace that we need. And there's so many things that we probably hearing this term, you might just think negative. Alikuwa na kuchoma na kisinga. Unajua kisinga ni nini? A hot rod. Is it a hot rod? No, like a hot wood. Like, you know, like you'd think yes, those are the things that we're probably talking about today. But some of things are just, I did not know any better. I was just trying to protect you, but the language that I'm using with you is not probably how I should be talking to you. But I mean well. And I really love you. But what it does to us later is what we're talking about and how we need to navigate that. And just the question that we're asking you today is, if you could say one healing thing to your younger self about your relationship with your mother, what would it be? If you could say one healing thing to your younger self about your relationship with your mother, what would it be? Please engage us. And if you have any other question other than the question that we're asking you today, just send it, because we will be answering that live on air. And just before the break, we had questions coming in, and I know we've all taken a question here and there to answer, and we'll start with you, Moriah. There's a question that was asked directly to you.
Yes, about the 9-month-old who cries when they laugh loudly.
Yes.
So, first of all, I like to take the place of the infant. I like to take the place of the baby.
So you're 9 months old now?
Yes, yes. And every time you guys crash out laughing, wow!
That would never be allowed around that child. I am loud.
What that baby is doing is it's communicating.
Okay.
It's already communicating. It's already expressing themselves to you. Maybe there's something that you went through during your pregnancy, that maybe you were exposed to something that sounded loud for the baby in the belly, and the way they managed it in the womb is that they cried, and you don't know about it. So what I'd advise that lady to do is, first of all, to attune herself. Attuning is bringing yourself to the same tune covered in this book by Agiso. Yes, that you attune yourself to the needs of your child, because every child comes very differently.
Yes.
I'll encourage her from my own experience. I had one of my children during a very tumultuous, emotional, psychological time, and I used to cry a lot during that pregnancy. And I'd go in my room and I'd cry and cry and cry, and after that phase for me, I'd sit with my belly and I would tell her, Mommy's not crying because you're here, or I'm not anxious about you. And when I had that baby, I would hold her and I would still be weeping as she was breastfeeding, and I would always look at her and tell her, it's nothing to do with you. I'm just thinking about other things that are making me sad to date.
Yeah.
And she's big. I will call her calm and I will remind her, I want you to remember the conversation we've had since we met in my womb, that you're amazing, that you're beautiful, and I love you, and you're a baby born out of love, and I celebrate you. So what I'm telling this lady is her baby is communicating to her.
Okay.
Show this baby from this stage that Mommy can hear.
Yes.
Mommy wants to understand. Spend time alone with that baby and talk to them. Baby's here.
Yeah.
Babies do, infants do, and that's how they know this is my mom. That's why people say, oh, it's because when you nurse them, they can smell you, and that's how they have that instinct. No, the baby knew you from around 3 or 4 months in the book. Yes, from her research, again. Yes, I went to Ruth Hockey, I went to all these people, and it's very valid that when a baby is in the womb and their ears begin to form, they hear, they know. So please listen to your baby.
Okay. I guess maybe you can just add on to that.
Yes, I think what Moriah is saying is very true. A child can be wounded from the womb, when they're in the womb. When they're 10 weeks old, their brains are forming, and because of the chemicals or whatever that are released from the mother to the fetus, there can be negative and positive reactions. If a mother goes through trauma when that child is in the womb, there's an accident. And I was going to say, Moriah, probably the mother was in an accident. There was a big bang when she was carrying the child. So the child comes out and experiences that big bang, the noise when they're still in the womb. If a child is born, or if you have a child, you conceive, and you don't want that child, you reject that child will know when they come out of the womb. They'll know that they were not rejected. That's why I like and I really applaud what Moriah was doing, because a child will come out, they've picked up things that were on the outside when they were in the womb, in vitro. And you'll wonder, how did this child know? Some children, especially those who are conceived out of wedlock, and baby daddy says that's not his baby, rejects the mother. There's a rejection. The mother then feels, there's this story about how the mother was expecting, and there was a situation where the father rejected that mother. Actually, it's my story. My father rejected my mother. There was a situation. And she was carrying me. I was 5 months old. And that situation caused such a rejection in my mother. When I was born, I still have rejection I struggle with. But it's because of the feelings at that time she was carrying me. And she told me shortly before she passed on, we were very close, but she told me of this situation. And I realized that whatever is on the outside, when a child is in vitro, in the womb, the child receives the feelings. And then because their brains are still forming, the emotions are stored in their head. So I come out, I wasn't anything special or anything, but I always felt rejected. Everywhere I felt, people were rejecting me. And then as fate would have it, you go to a school, you meet a teacher who's like, stupid girl, what's wrong with you? Why are you getting 16% in maths? People are, because God created us all differently. People are body shaming you, and so you feel it's like the elements, cooperate to bring you down with that rejection. So unless you go back to the root and find out where did that come from. And I realized that when I was writing this book.
What?
I had never known where my rejection comes from.
We live and we learn. And thank you for sharing your personal story with us as well and answering that question. We had another question as well around things that were said to this girl by the mom. And they've tried to have this conversation, but she still feels like she probably will never heal from those things.
First of all, I just want to acknowledge that very precious lady who shared that. And I want to acknowledge the way she started. She said that, I know my mom loves me. I mean, that's for me what I held on to. But my mom has said some really, really difficult things to me, and I have said I would never say that to my child. Acknowledging that her mother loves her is already the foundation that she needs to grow from.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, she must recognize that those statements came from somewhere. It came probably from emotions she was carrying, rejection she was carrying from elsewhere, pain she was carrying from elsewhere. And I would really encourage her to continue to have those conversations with her mom, and maybe with a third party, like a coach, like a Giso, who will help them to identify, and the mother will be able to say, when I said those things, this was happening in my life. And so then she'll begin to realize it wasn't really about her, but about the situation around there. And then she will go back to her fallback and say, my mother loves me. Now, there are situations where, because she learned these things later in life, there's situations where you will learn these things later in life, but unfortunately, your mother has passed away. How do you heal from that? Again, going back to the foundation of my mother loves me, and having the conversations and going back to think around that time what was happening. And it's amazing how we have aha moments of, do you know that in 1970, a lot of people aren't in 1970, people are still alive. We were young. In 1970, this was happening in this industry, which my mother was attached to. So obviously she came home with bad vibes. And recognizing that the healing will start from one, the foundation of there was love, and two, being able to give every emotion that came a name and then trying to heal that emotion.
Okay, and I hope Candy, she's called Candy, I hope Candy you've gotten direction, and we'll probably give our numbers later to just, if you need to continue with this conversation, I think it would be very, very important. Cleopa, there's a lady in her 60s who's still holding on to rejection, and she's seeing, she even intervenes in her children's life when she sees them, the love dynamic is not working out for them, she feels like, I need to protect them. Yeah. There's a lot of fear there as well. Maybe you can address that.
I would like, first of all, to appreciate you having us here. Oh. We had a discussion with her, and we said that as people who are elderly, we have a role to play in shaping our nation.
That's true.
And so whatever we're doing now, this opportunity you have given us is one of that. I would also share my own personal testimony that I worked in a mental health facility for almost 4 years. And patients were saying, I want a mature, elderly man, especially ladies. And I didn't know what else to do. I was the senior psychologist, but I could empower the other psychologists not to feel anything because people are asking for me.
For you.
And I could guide them on how we can work together.
Yes.
So there is some wisdom in all that. So in the question, the first is 60 years, and you are still having challenges of rejection. Trust me, I support people in their 80s, 40s. And it is at that aging process that people start going back into their childhood. You hear them talking about when I was a boy, when I was a girl, my mother did. And then they are the same ones who are supposed to form the young generation. Even if we are 10 of us, we have a responsibility of forming the generation. And our word can even change. Like now, whatever we are doing now, this conversation, if someone listens to it, who is within the thinking of what the government can do about all this. We only need to empower. We have about 42,000 as per 2023, 42,000 people who have been trained in nursing and they are not working. We only need about 55 billion and we empower them to go and support mothers who are now pregnant. 6 visits alone for 2 years. And we change everything. So that is where now when us at 60s we recognize, we still carry. I still remember my mother. Even what I'm doing has got some origin from my mother. Because I remember one day I went, our home is downstairs in the valley. And I left home, went to the valley, and she's talking with a lady there. And she chased me. And I felt bad. Mother, why don't you love me? And I cried up to home, feeling bad. Later on, she called me quietly and told me, my son, it's not that I don't love you and I don't want you to come where I am. Whenever you see me with a person here, the things we are talking about, they are highly confidential. And that's how I come to the valley, because there are no ears here. If I talk at home, people will hear. You see, that comes on leading. Whenever I talk about confidentiality in therapy, I still go back, because that is something that I felt bad, but I have come to appreciate it and take it. That was a good foundation for me to be a therapist. 40 years later, that I never knew what my mother was doing. So these wounds, they are not necessarily. Then come to counseling. What we are doing right now is awareness. First step. For people to go back into their childhood. For people to ask their mothers. Like I really appreciate what you are saying. That before she passed on, she told you. So if you have a mother who is alive today, you can go and find out what was happening during pregnancy, what was happening when you are 1 year, 2 years, anything that happened. And so you'll come now for counseling with some awareness. And when you come to me, don't expect a solution right away. I will facilitate. I will use certain skills, certain techniques. And so the one who has said that I went for counseling, you did well. Those sessions you went, that was the beginning. So all what you need is patience. Go back again with another issue, because it is through that we are reorganizing now what she is saying. When you start neurobiology, the formation, like now why we are saying this period is very important, from pregnancy to 2 years, is because at 1 year, at 6 months, over 260 million neurotransmitters are being formed. And so a trauma is registered. You form a schema. And so whenever you face a difficult situation, the brain goes to that schema. And those are the things that we need to ask ourselves. How do we, number one, prevent? Because right now, we have a young generation of people who are on TikTok, on this, they are parenting on AI and all that. So how do we as a country prepare for the next generation? Because if we don't do something, then the mothers that will be giving birth in the next 1 to 2 years, young mothers with their firstborn daughter, and the kind of life they are living, they are using weed, they are using alcohol, like after COVID. Alcohol, you get it from the supermarket. You get it from the neighborhood. And this is the mother who now, there is no stigma. There is no going to the bar. So she will just buy and go and take it in the house, and she's expectant, and she's breastfeeding, and she's the one we are expecting. So that's where we need even people to physically go and monitor from pregnancy to 2 years. And then you can know the saving. If today Kenya comes and now start thinking on those data I'm giving, in the next 10 years, we will save between 100 and 200 billion. Because of, it is that serious. If someone can hear what you are saying and come up with a budget and empower us, empower the nurses who are working without work, 2,000 per visit. And trust me, in the next 10 years, we shall reduce the jail terms. We shall reduce the people who are going to a rehabilitation centers. We shall reduce the cases in the court. There is a lot that can be done if we start appreciating now that whatever happens in pregnancy for the mother, let's take care of this girl. At 60, let us come and give our wisdom. Listen to us. And then ourselves also, let's allow ourselves to deal with our own issues. Let's go for therapy even at 60. Because we have therapists who can help.
I think they're watching us today. It means this conversation is for us and everybody else. Like it's way important to be passed on. And we have more questions on WhatsApp. Let's take a look at that as we get the experts to answer these questions. And there we go. So we'll be picking the ones that we will address. Mindful Monday. Hi, hello guys, I'm Faith from Roiro. Is a father wound same as mother wound? Because for me, I have had a positive emotional connection with my mom and not my dad, yet he's present physically. Even as at now, I just find it so hard to express myself to my dad. I always feel distance when it comes to my dad. So father wound, will have somebody pick that up.
I'll do that.
I'm Wikali, I'm the firstborn daughter, and my relationship with my mom has never been there. We've never had mother-daughter talks any single day. Until to date, I'm grown, but still wounds in my heart. How can I get to talk to a psychologist? Can have another one. Pick that. Good morning, team. Joined when you had started. I am enjoying the show. Can I have the title of the book by Miss Oduno? Okay. Where can I find it and how much is it? Maraka, thank you so much. We will give you that information in just a bit. Good morning, my world. I'm Anne, and I have I've had mother wound, and I am headed to my 40s. I'm married with 2 beautiful girls. My parents are pastors, but they have always been present for other people and absent for us. They can support other kids and not their own. I love them, but they are out more than in. We never had family time because there were always visitors all the time. And if I don't start a conversation, they won't. If I don't say I love you, they can't. But will tell other people that she loves them. Was never good enough for my mom. All her attention were on my elder brothers. He got everything he ever asked for. But for me, I had to find a way to get through, but had my dad was always there for me. That's why I'm close to my dad till now and can share anything and everything, including my marriage issues with him, but not with my mom. But I still love her. To my younger self, you're strong, amazing, and made for greatness. Yes. Hello, Wikali and the team. I really love today's conversation. Personally, I got issues with my mom. She always called at me, shouting at me, comparing me with other children and throwing bad names at me. And being the firstborn of 3 at 28 years old, my mom tells me how bad my dad is. Like she always has been manipulative to an extent of telling me their bedroom matters. I have no one to talk to. And now that I have my baby's son is 7 years, daughter is 7 months, I'm scared that I will not be able to spread the love. What should I do? We take a note of that one. Hi, good morning. Waking up this morning and seeing this on TV immediately had me shed tears. Mother wound is real, Manze. I can say my mom messed my life. Kind of, she wanted me to be who she wanted to be. And being 21 weeks pregnant, I am careful to have and raise a good child for the world. Thank God for wisdom and knowledge He showed me in books and prayers and forgiveness, I think. My mom would tell me so many bad things, which I think, as the Bible says, words are seeds, as a man thinketh, so is he. Somehow I became those words: lazy, empty, selfish, shy, fearful. But I thank God He delivered me from these things, because I am what God says I am.
Amen.
I love that. Yeah. Hello, Mukali, it's Mine here. I'm 25 and I have suffered rejection all my life. I now have a 4-year-old kid, and my mom loves him so much. Like, there are times me uona ni kama anaambia mtoto wangu vitu ndio anichukie. She even told me to go to Saudi nimwachie mtoto wangu. Lakini nikakataa juu kuna possibility ya nikirudi my son would hate me already. Okay. Hi Mukali, I'm Evans. I truly faced in a mother wound, but she loves me. Okay. Hello guys, my name is Brian from Kericho. I enjoy the show. It's touching. So about healing, about a healing word I would like to tell my younger self is that mom loves you. That is because when we were kids way back, our mothers couldn't just say that directly to you, but they could just show it through their actions. Just grateful that nowadays that has changed, and that apart from showing it, moms also say directly to their children that I love you, and the kids feel it. So I just want to say that. Hello, Mikali, I will tell my younger and older self that it has always been tough, that it shall be well. Mother wounds makes one have a lot of self-doubt and overcompensation, so you get attention outside. Personally, I've always sought love outside our home. My relationship with my siblings is distorted because I mostly find her sharing my hardship and failures with them. It's totally tough, but someday it will be well. This had made me mentally block everyone at home just to try and salvage the little piece remaining in me. For example, I once in a while would confide in her and she would later use it against me. So I stopped and decided to live my own life in as much as I love this love in our home. Hello, Mikali. I'm keenly listening, and it's very touching because the mother wound is something I've been trying to heal from. I'm the only girl in a family of 4 siblings and a second born, and I have 3 brothers. A lot happened between me and my mom growing up, trying to trust her, and now it affects a lot between us because some things she does bring back the wounds alive and fresh, and I end up locking myself and crying. I barely tell her a lot about my life. Right now that I'm an adult, 19 and in campus, the mom I've seen her to my bros was very different. She's sweet and friendly to them, but harsh scolding and tongue lashing, like she sees nothing good in me from childhood. It's tough. I love her, and she loves me, but I always feel rejected by her from childhood. It makes it hard for me to open up and tell her a lot about my personal life. Can't say I'm a daddy's girl because I ain't so close with him. I'm just a me girl. It's tough sometimes. I feel I should be alone, away from them, then figure out myself and heal alone. Being with them is good because they are your parents. For me, words easily hurt me. I may forgive her for something she might say, but it brings back hurtful words and how she treated me and made me feel as a child. It's made me so emotional and sensitive towards people. How should I go about it? Hey, how do I heal from this mother's wound? I think that's one question that we need to handle. How do we heal? Do we need to reparent? Is that a thing? Hi, Mikali. I'm a mother to a 6-year-old boy. I've observed him playing outside with other children a lot, and his need for validation from his friends is really concerning for me. He brags a lot. I've had conversation with him about but no change. How do I go about it? Okay, is that the last one that we have? Hey, good morning. Good morning. It's a rejection for my dad and at times my mom, because I don't have a job for 3 years. I am only told to go and get married, and I am not ready because I have a fear seeing my mom's marriage is working. She got married because she was being rejected by her mom. What should I do and get married, or should I continue with the trauma and rejection from them? At times I just wish I could have a friend to share my pain with. Oh, okay. Right. Okay. We are going to answer those questions. I hope we've all noted the questions that we are asking. It looks like there's a lot that needs to be handled. And of course, the big question is, the biggest question is, how do we heal? How do we heal? Hello there. This is the last one just before we take a break. Hello. Hello there. Mine is different. I'm suffering from grandma wound. That woman made me go through a lot, like rejection, depression. I felt like I would kill myself. We do talk like, I can't forget everything she said to me, why she did it to me. Adiwa Leo, I don't feel any love for my grandma. I tried to talk big to my mother. She said I'm being mean. Atia, she'll never talk about her mother. Please help. Okay, that brings a different dynamic to this. Yes, and I think earlier we said it's not just the mother. There's also a caregiver who you grow up with, and we'll be tackling that after this break. Tupumue, alafu tunarejea. Asanteni sana, we'll see you shortly. Welcome back to Your World. We're talking about the mother wound and how that relationship, that dynamic, since you were in the womb to coming into the world, how that relationship has affected the relationships that you have now. And we've tackled what the mother wound is, what it looks like, and we've answered so many questions as well. We've also talked about how we need to extend grace to all of that and what that dynamic probably should, instead of blaming, what do you do from where you are from? And all the questions that we've got, I know we've taken notes of all those questions, and based on those questions, I think the one need that is coming out clearly and loudly is, how do I heal? How do I go about this? Is it, do I have, for forgiveness to happen, do I need to have an interaction with my mom first? If Hawayuko, is it necessary? Can I just do this work by myself and continue with the relationship that is still there with them? Is reparenting a thing that I can actually do here and now? So maybe we'll start with you, Agiso, as we come this way. When we talk about healing, based on the questions that you've received, how do we go about it?
Okay, thank you, Mukali. I think the first thing that people need to do is to admit that they have a mother wound. Denial will not get you any healing. So you may be feeling like a thing in your heart, you know, when you see your mom, there's like a feeling you have. And I know men have a hard time admitting that. Admit, recognize that you have a mother wound. Go back to your childhood and reflect on things that could have caused you to have a mother wound. We've talked about the behaviors that you would have, low self-esteem and all those things, self-sabotaging behaviors that are now presenting in your adulthood. And then the next thing is forgiveness. Forgiveness is the key to healing. You may not feel like forgiving your mother. There are people who says, I can never forgive my mother, I'd rather die. Yeah. And some people die before they forgive their mother. But you see, unforgiveness is like taking poison and hoping that the other person will die. Yeah. Forgiveness releases you. It releases you from the pain. And I know from my own personal experience, there have been some traumatic experiences and betrayals that when I forgave the person, it completely set me free. So admit that you have the wound. If you're not sure that you have the wound, you can reflect on some of the behaviors you're finding yourself presenting at this point, and then see where that comes from. It probably, like me, you had a wonderful, loving mother, but then you remember something she said to you. Who was it that said something? Just one thing. Alisema tu kitu moja, and that finished you for life. So the other thing is, to find healing, you'll need to do a lot of inner child work. And that is going back to yourself, reflecting. Take a break, journal. Journaling is the best thing to do. When mom said this, how did it make me feel? Yeah. It made me feel neglected, abandoned. So then trace the things back to, so that is why in my my dating relationships, I can't date, I can't commit to a man because I feel like they'll abandon me. Yeah. And you can trace it back to your childhood. And then also another thing for healing, seek help. Okay. There's lots of people, lots of therapists here represented, many people that can help you, and I know we'll give some contacts. Yes. I have a program that I do, it's called Maternal Mending, and it's on the mother wound.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've just finished two with some ladies out of the country, and it's amazing. Okay. Amazing. They're older women, like in their 50s, but it's amazing.
Yeah, and that affirms what Cleopa was saying earlier, that even in your 70s, in your 80s, the need comes up, and when you go back to your little one, then you feel the need to heal that. So there's no age limit to this, just because you feel like you're probably in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, that, we can just go on with life. But no, there is something that can't be done.
Even at that age, it's important to heal, to finish well.
Yes.
Because you don't want to go to your grave with this big thing in your chest. When you get to heaven, you'll be, what is that big thing? You know, you don't get it on earth.
Absolutely, I love that. Awakonyo?
You know, what I really love about this conversation is that we're talking about awareness.
Yes.
Because for the longest time, words like mother wound, father wound, they didn't exist.
No.
You just felt a sort of kind of way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you said, you see your mom and you feel a sort of kind of way. Awareness has come, and our knowledge of a thing comes with a responsibility. Now our responsibility is now to do the work. What is the work? And then I want to be very careful and say that the healing for Carol is not the healing for Waki. The healing for Waki is not the healing for Kiprop. Healing is going to manifest itself so differently. It's okay for us to sit here and say, go back to your mother and have the conversation. What if you can't have that conversation with your mother? What if your mother is ailing and old, and having that conversation might take her to the grave faster, and then you won't just have a mother wound, you will now feel like you killed your mother, you know? So you really have to be careful to understand, what does healing look like for me? And that's why we have therapists, why we have coaches, people who will tell you, ask you the tough questions, and be ready to hear the tough questions. What does a conversation with your mom look like? And they will say, okay, you probably need to heal yourself first, because a healed version of yourself is what your mom will understand. Your mom will not understand a broken version, because she will go on the offense and defend herself. So understand what healing looks like, and healing is not standard, and be able to ask for the help. Ask people to help you, have the conversations, but have the conversations, because without having the conversations, something in you will continue to die. And it doesn't matter how old you are. Let's have the conversations.
Okay, Cleoma?
Yeah, so the first starting point is therapists are trained differently, different institutions. They also have some where they lie on, like if you are trained in this approach or this approach. So the training among us therapists is different, but all of it has got one intention of your wellness, of you healing from the whatever it is that you are feeling. So the approaches, and then just like what you have said, when you come to me, I don't have one approach for everybody. I will observe you. I will see where you're coming from. If already I'm supporting you with the depression, then my approach will be totally different. If I'm supporting you because of anxiety, if there is a personality disorder, and you see, depending with the experience and the training, we are able to make a diagnosis. Because that's the first thing we do when you come. All for us is not like a psychiatrist doctor who will make a diagnosis of depression for treatment. For therapists or for psychologists or counselors, we are picking the underlying issues. What is it that you have brought? And I only know that when you come for therapy. When I call you on telephone, because like now, the last year I did about 1,000 hours of therapy through the phone alone. I'm just sitting and someone from anywhere in Kenya and from all over the world with the Facebook, so with the WhatsApp, with the Google Meet. Now we are so, it's not that you have to come and see Cleopa in Nairobi or a therapist. All what you need is to get my number, and then we see how we can go. So when I listen to you, I will be able to pick, do I start supporting you with meditation? Because that is what informs you, depending on what you have. And then in meditation, I can take you through a process where it's not the traditional way of meditation, but I'm just telling you to just listen to your voice and see what you can pick. It is from there I also identify a technique. I may not use the actual technique. Like now there is one which, when she was talking about the neurotransmitters, the one that help in trauma-focused therapy, one that is powerfully used is EMDR, eye movement, desensitization and reprocessing. the training is, before you come to that, you have gone through about 9 sessions.
Okay.
You have even come with a film to identify. I've told you to think of what happened in your childhood. And you pick, and you are just here as the person who is directing the film. So I hear this is what can help you. And when I suggest, or the river of my life, you know, those are all tools we use for self-awareness. You start thinking from conception till birth, what happens? And we normally start with the positives. Like, what did your mother do, caregivers do? Then we narrow down into, could there have been something that was not okay with you? Then that is the one now I'll ask myself, will visualization help you? So the two will depend on you. Will writing a letter to your mother, like that is what is popularly. Most people use that. Your mother is not alive, but you want to talk to her. Can you be able to write a letter to her and then burn it? You know, it's as simple as that. Or even like that one requires trained therapist. We call it empty chair technique, where you are talking to your mother, you come back again, but that requires proper training. So a therapist who takes you some of these techniques also need to be well trained, so that if there are emotions that are coming from what you are doing, I can help you go through those emotions. So it is not one thing that we do for everybody. And that's why now also in our training, but because like what I was saying, if today I am a founder and director of VivaMind Solutions, if today I get the project that is in my mind, I will train 500 nurses to go to the mothers. So when I'm training them, I'll look for one specific skill that they can go and use when they are visiting their mothers. And each one, because they have already have a background of nursing, what is it that they can be able to go and tell an expected mother? What am I targeting? Is it the adolescent mothers who are using alcohol? So my target would be, we go to about 200 mothers who are expectant and they are already using alcohol. Can we make them not to drink this time when they are expectant? Can we ensure that the 6th visit, up to the time the child is 6 months, 6 years, this child is treated nicely? Are we changing the way they talk in that family? You know, those are some of the things that we can now have a uniform approach geared towards something that is evidence-based. We can think back and say, after we had this forum, this is what happened in Kenya. And today in Kenya, we have counties and all that running programs that are helping our mothers. Because it's not enough for us to say motherhood, fatherhood.
What are we doing?
What are we going to do, even as a nation?
Because I mean, creating awareness is an amazing thing, because it's a beautiful place to start. But then what now? And even as you answer the question that everybody has been answering, Moriah, I think I'd like to also, for you to tie in with resistance. You know, there's resistance. Everybody is, the walls are up. The people that I'm supposed to have these conversations with, because I mean, it's a good place to start, where I have realized this has happened. Mom is still alive. My brothers are still here. And we saw that where Mama is Meribu, even the siblings, we don't have a relationship. Probably I'm the bad one in this setup. You know, how do you handle that resistance? And is it okay to just be like, fine, nitaponea kwa ile kona nyinyi? Good stuff. It was good while it lasted, so
Wow. I'll start by saying I am a product of healing.
That's very
The lady you see seated here is in the process of healing, and this book changed my life. Thank you so much, Agiso. Thank you so much. That I found this book referred to me by a lady who had had my heart cry for why my life was the way it was, and I always knew. And right now, at the end of the interviews, when I'm realizing my answer to that question, remember the beginning I had dipped because it triggered me. So what I'd like to say is, to first answer what we are talking about healing, is I did the work. I did the work, and I was ready to meet myself. And if you watched last time, you saw how I went back to the little me, and I met her when I was 5, because that's, I think, the safest I felt last. Now, how healing happens, or how it happened for me, is I went back to my mom, what he said. And I think it has also been said by Waki that you could go back if your mom is available. And I asked her, tell me, in a friendly way, way before, I wasn't even looking for this healing yet. That's like, I was married for how long? So way before. And I used to ask my mom, tell me about my childhood. How was I born? And she said, she told me innocently, your labor. You are labor. You beautiful thing, you. Your labor cracked me up. It was the most painful. What do you think that said to me who was already feeling rejected? Feeling abandoned. Feeling
rejected.
Not enough. Okay?
Pain.
So
Sorry.
Thank you. Sorry. I felt like Jabez in the Bible. You know how your parent, the mom, yes, I identified with that. So guess what that did for me? I never had labor. I told my husband, Daddy, this is how it's working. Eh? Before that thing hits me,
I need to be
I want
under.
my babies. I want my babies safe.
Yeah.
And I never pushed because I couldn't want to face. I felt like that was a monster that was waiting to gobble me up. And it is a natural way to go. So that's a conversation I'm now having with my children. And even last night as I was preparing for this, I was like, okay guys, let's try and just stretch. Because then like we joke a lot about grandchildren. And I want my grandchildren to come the natural way. And they're like, yeah. So you see, they are not thinking like me.
Yeah.
I've not indicated to them, I had a CS and I was sick. And I'm like, let's do this the God way. So healing comes from you first.
Yeah.
Doing the work. If you can find me on TikTok, this conversation is there. And it was very triggering at first. People went mute and then suddenly there was just a blow up about it. People started reaching out and saying, I've held this for so long, it's been eating me up and now I feel like I just want to release. So when he talks about phone therapy, over the past about 7 months, I've done about 200 hours of phone therapy. And someone will call me, okay, and I'm still cooking, and we're still on phone because they want to let it out. So whatever works for you is where you will get your healing. About journaling, even Agiso said, a friend told me when I was going through another situation, Mariah, you could bleed on paper. So you just, you cry it out there, you bleed it out there, and then like you said, you burn it. All right? So now tying that up, what I'm doing about healing with my clients is I've actually begun an open program. A Healing the Bloodlines program. Because we need to understand that we are coming from a template of a bloodline that passes pain this way. You see her pain, his pain, my pain is different. Your pain may be
very different.
It's very different. So I've begun this approach of healing bloodlines for couples, for moms, for new moms, for mothers who never saw their children. I know of a lady who had 3 lost pregnancies. So you can imagine there's a story there. So for me, I think healing is a personal process. And remember, like I said last time, your body is your first home.
That's true.
Make sure. Do your best. Do whatever it takes to have your home the way you want it. Realign it. What was your last question?
When there's resistance.
When there's resistance.
And anybody else can chime in.
Yes. My experience from that is that the time I decided to be bold about it, and I went to my mom without my knowledge, or she didn't know what I was looking for, right? So I go to her, and then we're just having this conversation, the conversation that started the healing, and they say 1, 2, 3, and they ask me, how did you know that? You are not there when I was growing up. You've never seen that part of the conversation. How did you know to think like that? And that's when her motherly, I guess, eyes open, and she was like, oh my God, a girl is as good as a boy. And that's where our healing began. Because what she had said over me when I was born, you know what she said? And I love you, mommy, is that, oh, she's not a boy, she can be a boy and a girl. It's just the same. So guess what happened to my male energy? Very elevated. Very elevated. I've been sittings with men and they think, she's very intimidating. How can she talk like that and she's a woman? But because someone had spoken that over me, my being had adjusted to that. So when I realized that was happening now, I have toned down. Very obedient. Very
feminine
obedient,
energy.
Feminine energy. But what I'm trying to say to our viewers is this. Your journey is so unique.
Absolutely true.
Your journey should be so authentic. And as we come to the end of this conversation, maybe, is what are you seeking? What does your authenticity look like? I like to say every bloodline has its tapestry. And I've shared on TikTok how watching Game of Thrones for me brought me healing about bloodlines. So many, God has, don't say God. My life experience has taught me that many of the answers we are looking for are in the dark areas of us. Where you feel, I don't want to, no, I can't. This book was a dark area.
We need to find out where do we get this book.
This book was my dark area. I bought it towards Christmas, and I tell you, I couldn't open it. I couldn't open it. I was like, no. But then I just kept feeling, read the book.
Read the book.
That's where your healing is. And now what has happened? I have met a tribe of women who are waiting for my voice. They were waiting for my perspective. They were waiting for my approach. I'm now elevating families that were at their lowest. They're now saying, if I will be the only one, if I will be the priest of this home, I will be a gatekeeper. In this book, she says, mothers are meant to be gatekeepers.
I think on that note, we need to find out.
Please get the book.
Where do we get it? How much does it go for? Clearly, you know, when the conversation started in the morning, we're going to midday now. She was just here with no notebook, no nothing. Then we went on a break and she dashed. She's like, y'all all need to see. Evidence. So as you give us your parting shot, because I think we have less than 5 minutes to the end of the show. Parting shot and where to get the book, how people can get in touch with you.
Parting shot, first of all, that is the generational healing. Healing is spiritual. And a lot of the wounds, there's a spiritual element of it. I also happen to be a pastor and a deliverance minister. So we take people through the spiritual aspect of healing from those wounds. And I also happen to combine it with my counseling and coaching skills. So I take people through what I call the maternal mending. And then after we've gone through all these things, we do a prayer of releasing, deliverance, repentance. And then the other parting shot I want to say is that mitigating circumstances. And I'm saying this for the Gen Zs. Please know that not every mother sets out to wound their child.
That is important to hear.
Not every mother. Kumbukeni, your mother is a single mother. She got you out of wedlock. It happened to her mother as well. She was born out of wedlock. So this is something, there are so many circumstances, cultural implications. She married into the wrong tribe. Then she got a girl instead of getting a boy. So there are all those things that cause a mother herself to be wounded that causes her to wound the child. The book is available at Nuria Bookshop on Moi Avenue, Moi Bazaar at 1500. The number to call for more information, 0718 582-035.
Say that again.
0718-582-035.
1500 Nuria Bookstore, first floor of the Bazaar Plaza. Okay, thank you for that. Well, Konya, your parting shot and how people can get in touch with you. You have about, what, 20, 30 seconds?
20, 30 seconds, and 10 have already gone. I really want to use a word that Mariah used. Let's be okay to go into the dark rooms of our lives. My work as a coach is to walk you into those dark rooms. You won't have to go in alone. We go in and then we learn where the light switch is and switch it on. A mother wound should not take you out. It should make you aware. And then if you're a mother, allow you to be able to mother your children better. And then always acknowledge we are all human beings. We will all make mistakes and sometimes they manifest as mother wounds. Let's be okay to deal with them. Let's be okay to actually acknowledge that they happen. So my contact is 0740 828 889.
Again,
0740 828 889.
Asante sana.
Thank you so much. Why many people don't go for therapy or seek help is because of the fear of pain. And now today we are talking about motherhood.
Yeah.
So then the fear of, I don't want to say anything about my mother.
Yeah.
So my parting shot is, when you come to therapist, we will use different techniques. It's not a must you come and feel pain.
Okay.
It's not a must you come and feel and cry.
That's
There
encouraging.
are different approaches into counseling,
Yes.
where we take you step by step without hurting you again
Yes.
or re-traumatizing you. So we have several therapists, we have many psychologists, but for those who would want to come to Cleopa,
Yeah.
my number is 0721 356
Yeah.
549.
Say it again.
0721 356 549. My office is situated in Upper Hill, and it's a very good parking space.
Yes.
And anyone, no one you know you are coming to therapy.
Yes.
You are coming like you are going to the business premises, and I take you to a very private office.
Thank you
and
so much.
Everybody is welcome.
Asante sana. Mariah.
I would like to
Na
highlight.
TikTok pia handle,
Yes,
please.
TikTok.
Yes.
Elevate Coach KE. Let's
Yes.
connect there. Elevate Coach KE. Again, I would like to highlight.
So your camera,
Is
the eight. Yes.
Yes, I would like to highlight the impact that this book will have on you. It will be very extreme. And there's one thing that I read just yesterday as I was rereading in preparation for this. Agiso wrote there an African proverb that says, one good mother is worth 100 teachers. It's an African proverb. So if mothering is done right, if mothering is taught from the church, from the workplace, from the social aspect, that's why I've created that Healing the Bloodlines program for you. All right?
Yeah.
And how we start that is on a very high note with a vision board party.
Oh, yeah.
We set you up so you know this is my positive ladder of intent where I want to heal this mother wound. And what that vision board party will do for you is you will have a constant reminder in your comfort place at home, at work, that this is what I'm working towards. So my contact is 0726 089 109. I am located on Langata Road in Nairobi West. And I'll be glad to work with you in a very beautiful, I'm borrowing from here, in a very beautiful space on Gong Road where I do my work. And I will be so glad if someone just takes the time to heal their bloodline.
Sawa. Our time is really up.
I know.
Thank you so much, Mariah. Thank you so much. Cleopa, Waki. So that we shall Waki at this point. This show number 2. Agiso, thank you so much for joining the team today. Hopefully, I don't know if we're going to get into further ones next week, but we will confirm. But for all the people who've been watching today, and we've been talking about motherhood, it's not about blame games. No, it's about creating awareness and being empowered. And if you're watching and you're asking all this question and you're wondering, am I broken? No, you're not. No, you are aware. That is what you are. It is clear in your head that this is what is happening. So go ahead and have an amazing, amazing, amazing day. A healing week, if you may. From me to you, have an amazing day. Adios.